United States President Donald Trump and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan spoke on the phone on November 24, only days after a Russia-Turkey-Iran summit on Syria, with Ankara saying that Washington has pledged not to send weapons to the People's Protection Unit's YPG anymore. President Trump instructed his generals in a very open way that the YPG will no longer be given weapons. He openly said that this absurdity should have ended much earlier. Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu told reporters after the phone call. Cavusoglu said Trump had given his assurance after President Erdogan repeated Ankara's concerns over the continued delivery of heavy weapons and armored vehicles to the YPG, a group Ankara considers a terror organization because of its links with the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK). During the conversation, Erdogan once again urged for the need to completely resolve the visa crisis between the two allies, according to Cavusoglu. "We stressed that there should not be such unnecessary issues between the two countries," he said. Erdogan said the phone conversation with Trump was very productive, as he shared a picture of himself on the phone with the U.S. president. Cavusoglu, National Intelligence Organization MIT chief Hakan Fidan and presidential spokesman Ibrahim Kalin are also seen in the picture. Turkey has been slamming the U.S. for providing around 4,000 truckloads of weapons to the YPG in the fight against the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL. Erdogan questioned why the U.S. has continued to supply them with weapons if the war against ISIL was about to be won. The two presidents have exchanged views on the recent Sochi summit with the participation of the presidents of Russia, Iran and Turkey, Cavusoglu said, adding Ankara's opposition to the YPG's participation in a peace conference has also been supported by Iran. Before the conversation, Trump said he would contact the Turkish president. "We'll be speaking to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey about bringing peace to the mess that I inherited in the Middle East," the U.S. president tweeted. "I will get it all done, but what a mistake, in lives and $6 trillion, to be there in the first place," he wrote. "It is obvious that the reform process will not be simple. It will require compromise and concessions from all parties, including, obviously, the Syrian government," said Russian President Vladimir Putin after the Sochi summit. The National Dialogue Congress will serve for two goals: to draw up a new constitution and to run a fair and transparent election, under the monitoring of the United Nations, Erdogan told journalists after the summit. He said there was no such situation at the moment, in regards to whether Turkey had initiated any contact with Bashar al-Assad or mediators. Syria's main opposition stuck by its demand on November 23 that al-Assad does not play a role in an interim period under any UN-sponsored peace deal. A gathering in Saudi Arabia of more than 140 participants from a broad spectrum of Syria's mainstream opposition also blasted Iran's military presence in Syria and called on Shia militias backed by Tehran to leave the country. The participants stressed that the transition cannot happen without the departure of Bashar al-Assad and his clique at the start of the interim period, opposition groups said in a communiqué at the end of the meeting. Iran-backed militias sowed terrorism and sectarian strife between Sunni and Shia Muslims, the communiqué said. The opposition groups met to seek a unified position ahead of UN-backed peace talks after 2 years of Russian military intervention that has helped Assad's government recapture all of Syria's main cities. The Syrian opposition has sent a message that it is ready to enter serious direct talks over a political transition in Syria and has a unified position and a vision for the future of Syria, Ahmad Ramadan, opposition spokesman, told Reuters. The participants elected 50 members to a high negotiations committee and were about to finalize the delegation for the next round of UN-sponsored talks, scheduled to be made in days. UN peace talks mediator Staffan de Mistura was set to visit Moscow. There had been speculation that the opposition at the meeting could soften its demands that the Kremlin's ally al-Assad leave power before any transition. Trump, Erdogan, Middle East.